शिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। नारायणं पद्मभुवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपदं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमथास्तु शिष्यं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथास्तु पद्मपादं च स्तवं च शिष्यं तन्तोटकं वार्तिककारमन्यानस्मद्गुरुं सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि। यत्साक्षात् सच्चिदानन्दं प्रत्यगद्योमक्लीं तन्नमामि गुरुस्य योगिगम्यं परं पदं हानिलाग्निर्धरित्रन्तं सर्पणिमुद्गतं यथा भान्तच्छिदे नमस्तस्मै हरये बुद्धिसाक्षिणे श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। एतस्माच्च हेतोः धियः परिणामित्वं युक्तम्. The reason which was mentioned earlier is recollected and added to the current context as to why is buddhi vikari parinamini येनेवस्या भवेद्योगः सुखद कुंभादिना धियः तं वदन्ति तदैवान्यं वेत्ति नातो विकारिणि. So vikarini, this buddhi is vikarini. Why? Because it knows something which it is connected to, and it is always sequential, one at a time. So whether it is sukha dukkhadi or ghatapatadi, kumbhadi, buddhi is always connected one at a time, and thereby only that vishaya it will know. Yoga and vishaya, it will know only that much. Therefore it is vikari, whereas Atma is avikari because Yugapat सर्वं वेत्ति, सर्वविकारान् वेत्ति और सर्व योगान् वेत्ति, सर्व विषयान् वेत्ति, सर्व गोचरान्. Earlier the gochara word has been used. Thereby the vikari atma. Further, asyascha kshanabhanguratve swayameva atma sakshi. So asyaha dhiyaha buddhehe, this buddhi is kshanabhangura. It is momentary. Goes away in a moment. Vritti goes away in a moment. Although here when we say vritti goes away in a moment, Tarkikas paksha really. Tarkika says the vritti is kshanika. Siddhanti does not have to agree with that. In Vedanta Paribhasha, it is said that vritti, if you think it is changing every moment, then one explanation. But in the Siddhanta, it is not really changing every moment. When the Vishaya changes, then it is changing. So Buddhi knows one Vishaya at a time. If it is looking at the same Vishaya through and through, you are doing nothing else. All your Indriyas are closed and you are just looking at a Ghata. And of course, the reason that the Vritti seems momentary is because even if the Indriyas are closed, within the Antakarana, the Samskaras come up and then there are Vrittis. Antakarana Vrittis are there based on the Samskaras. Need not be Bhaya Vishayas all the time. That's why we have Sapna also. Daydreaming or even thinking, just close your eyes, just keep silent. You tell others, just for a moment, just, don't say anything. I'm thinking something. So that time, within the Antakarana, without the Bahya Vishaya, Vrittis are going on. That's why it appears to be momentary. But the idea is that if there is a single Vishaya continuing all the time through a single Indriya or within the Antakarana is having only one Vishaya continuously, then it is a single Vritti. That is Nirnaya in Vedanta Paribhasha. That is the Mukhya Siddhanta. Anyway, so only that Vishaya it knows. Now here Asyaha Dhiyaha or Buddhehe cha Kshanabhanguratve Swayameva Atma Sakshi. Who is the Sakshi? Who knows this? Who knows the ghatapatadi vishayakara vritti, and it's changing nature. The buddhi is changing, vritti is changing. Who knows it? Sakshi Atma knows it. There Swayam eva Atma Sakshi. Antakarana cannot know itself for two reasons. One, it is Jada. Second is what? Even it, even if it has a semblance of Chaitanya due to the proximity with Atma, Chaitanya Rupa Atma, still there is a Kartru Karma Virodha. It cannot know itself. But we do know change. So who knows it? So Siddhanti says, Swayameva Atma Sakshi, Asyascha Buddhehe or Dhiyaha Kshanabhanguratve. There's a Tippana there. Second Tippana we had seen, I think. Yeah. Third Tippana is Parinama Sakshitvena Asau Aparinami iti bhavaha. So one who knows the changing buddhi, Sakshi, that Sakshi has to be unchangeable. We have seen this idea so many times now. Shabdata also, and in the Tika sometimes outside that in the explanation I gave. So we know that changing entity is known via or through an unchanging entity, known by an unchanging entity. So one who knows change is unchanging. Therefore, Sakshi knows change in Buddhi, and thereby Sakshi Aham Avikari. So this has been established thus far. Nahi kutastha avabodham antarena buddhehe eva avirbhava tirobhavadi siddhir asti. Now, Siddhanti says the buddhehe avirbhava tirobhava adi siddhi. So buddhi manifests into a particular akara and then has a tirobhava from that akara. So buddhi comes and goes. We'll say vritti comes and goes, meaning buddhi comes and goes. So kutastha avabodham. Without the knowledge by the kutastha, unchanging, kutastha kutavat tishtati. The avirbhava and tirobhava means change. Whose change? Buddhi's change. So buddhi has avirbhava, tirobhava. And avirbhava, tirobhava siddhi, adi siddhi, meaning what? Knowing that it is coming up and going, that is not possible without the kutastha avabodha. Kutastha avabodha is what? Kutastha knows it. Meaning one who knows has to be kutastha. Kutastasya, Shashti we have to take. Kutastasya or kutastena avabodham. Avabodham. Kutastena avabodham. Kutastasya is better. Kutastasya avabodham antarena. Without the kutastha avabodha, without the knowledge of the kutastha meaning unchanging entity, the siddhi of the avirbhava or tirobhava of buddhi is not possible. Knowledge is not possible. Siddhi here in the sense of knowledge, because again, of course, you can say that kutastha itself is avabodha rupa and therefore bhana, but here the context is of what? Of the knowledge of the change. That has to be known by the entity which is unchanging. Otherwise, a changing entity will have no reference. Point of reference is lost. Point of reference has to be still. You have seen the example also earlier. And thereby, no tippana here. And thereby, parinami dhiyam vrittam nityakramadrugatmana shadbhava vikriyameti vyaktam khenankuro yatha. Parinami dhiyam vrittam nitya akramadrugatmana. Single word. Shadbhav vikriyam eti vyaptam khena ankuraha yatha. So two tippanas there. Vrittam. Vrittam is what? It is mentioned as what? Swarupam. Here, Vrittam is Swarupam. And Vyaptam. What is Vyaptam? Atmana Vyaptam iti sambandha. Sasakshikam ityartha sarathe. So Vyaptam, Atmana Vyaptam. That is the sambandha, that is the anvaya. It is pervaded. What is pervaded, we'll see. By what it is pervaded, we'll see here. Atmana vyaptam. It is pervaded by Atma. Sasakshikam. Not without Sakshi, it is with Sakshi. There is a witness to us who is Kutastha, unchanging. So, what is the shloka itself? So, the Anvaya is what? Parinami dhyam vrittam. Vrittam means swarupam. The swarupa of the changing buddhi. Changing buddhi, ahankaradi, antakarana. It is vyaptam. Kena vyaptam? Nityakrama. Akrama. Nityakrama is nitya akrama druk. You have seen akrama druk is yugapad druk. One who is witness to everything simultaneously. That kind of Atma is called as nityakrama druk. Seeing continuously everything simultaneously. Nitya meaning continuously there, and akrama means without sequence. So it's not sequential, one Vishya, then another Vishya. This everything is lit up simultaneously. That is the idea of akrama druk. Yugapad darshityartha. Tena atmana. Tena atmana is basically maya. Maya atmana, by me. The this Shashti, Parinami Dhyam Vrittam, Swarupam. Swarupa of the changing buddhi is pervaded by me, or that Atma, which is Nitya Akrama Druk. Like what? This is the exemplified. The exemplified has come earlier. What is the example? Yatha Ankuraha Khena Vyaptam. Ankura. So an example is taken, an Ankura, any bija becomes Ankura. Now, when this Ankura comes up and it will grow up into a tree, let's say, the tree will be huge. Imagine a tree whose Ankura is small now. Bija was even further smaller. It is going to grow up into, let's say, Ashwata Vriksha. Example is in Chandogya Upanishad, Shashta Adhyaya. So there, in the Bija, it is so small. Ashwata Bija is so small, and it is said that Ashwata is not planted really. Nobody, puts up a bija and says Ashwata. Birds eat the fruit, and then the bija is so small, they just, spit it out, or in their, this thing, when they throw out the excreta, from that, the Ashwata tree grows up. Bijas are there everywhere, but then it is so small. So in Chandogya Upanishad, the father asked the son there, Acharya asked the Shishya, what do you see inside this bija? He says, I don't see anything. He says, you cut it. Cutting itself is difficult. He cuts it. He says, Kimapi nasti. Nothing is there. He says, no, it is not nothing. The entire vriksha is there in that. That is how the entire samsara is in the bija rupa Brahma also. But Brahma is all pervasive. That's why I say it's all pervasive. So here, example is Ankuraha Khena Yatha Vyaptam. Here Vyapta, we have to convert it into Pullinga. Yatha Vyapta Tatha. Tatha or Tadvat ityadi should be added there. Or evam prakarena. But why this example? Because earlier we have seen Ghatakasha, Patakasha, Avachedavada. So in Avachedavada also, when the Ghata came up, the Akasha was still there. Kham is Akasha. So Khena Akashena Vyaptam. Vyaptaha Ankura Vyapta. Before the Ankura came up, Akasha was there. While the Ankura came up, Akasha is there. When it grows up into the complete Ashwata Vriksha, Akasha is still there. Where is the Akasha? It is not that Akasha is spreading while the tree grows. Akasha is always there, even where the tree is there, Akasha is there. It was there, is there, will be there, unchanging. Now here, what kind of Kham, what kind of Akasha? So this Akasha is very subtle. So then what kind of Dhi also, Parinami Dhi? Here, Shadbha Vikriyameti. You have to say Parinami Dhyam Vrittam Nityakrama Drugatmana Shadbhava Vikriyam Eti and Vyaptam. Nityakrama Drugatmana Vyaptam. This parinami dhiyam vrittam is first case vrittam here. Kena vrittam, kena vyaptam, nitya krama drigatmana vyaptam. The swarupa of the parinami dhi is pervaded by the yugapaddarshi atma, like Ankura is Vyapta, pervaded by Akasha, Kham. And here, and thereby what? You can say Vyaptam Sat, being pervaded. So, Anvaya, see, the connection of this is not clear. So, I'll explain, make the Anvaya first and then explain. Yatha Khena Ankuraha Vyaptaha. Vyaptaha. Tatha Nityakrama Drigatmana Parinami Dhiyam Vrittam Vyaptam Sat Shadbhava Vikriyam Eti. Shadbhava Vikriyam Eti. And if you want to see that in the example also, we can say Yatha Ankuraha Khena Vyaptaha San Shadbhava Vikriyam Eti Tatha Nityakrama Drigatmana और परिणामी धिया वृत्तम नित्याक्रम दृगात्मना व्याप्तम सत षड्भाव विक्रियाम एति. You can use it both ways. So what is the idea? As and when the bija becomes ankura, it is said to have janma. Janma vikara. Ankura is born. So there's a bud coming up. So ankura. And then you say it's budding. So, and then what? Janma, astitva ityadi. All of the vikara, shadbha vikaras. Asti jayate, asti. In the bija it is there. Then jayate, born. Asti jayate or jayate and then asti. Vikara yogya. Sequence can be changed. Now you say, oh, there's an ankura. So far it was not seen in the bija. Now it is there. Vyavhara yogyatvam. Nama rupatmakam. Therefore you say what? Jayate then asti. Or asti jayate. Then vardate, grows into a tree. Viparinamate, undergoes some change while not growing further. Gives fruits, bears fruits, flowers, fruits, and goes. Mango tree, for example. Asti jayate, vardate, viparinamate, undergoes change. Then slowly what? Apakshiyate, declines. Then nashyati, gone. Maybe so many years, Ashwata tree for a long, long time, it goes away. How? Akasha is there through and through. It is not that the Akasha will leave the person like in old age, old age, she say, okay, now I can't take care of you. So far it was okay. You are on your own. Not like that. Akasha is through and through there. Parvasive means what? Through all the Shadvikaras, Akasha is there. Akasha does not undergo any change. If the tree has grown old, about to fall off, Akasha is still there, unaffected. Similarly, Atma, the buddhi goes away, undergoes change. Ahankara undergoes all sorts of change. Buddhi. Vrittis undergo all sorts of change. Vritti comes up. Then you say, yes, Ghata asti, I know. How? Because Ghatam pashyami, aham pashyami. So I know that vritti is there. I see the vritti. Ghatam aham janami. So asti jayate. Then here not vardate is what? Buddhi vardate. So you school yourself, you go through colleges, universities, get multiple degrees and then say, hopefully learn something, not just passing exams, we learn something. So we learn something and then what? Say, yes, vardate. So much is there in buddhi, memory, everything. Then what? Slowly, not stagnant, but viparinamati, undergoes some kind of change. So the meaning opens up. For example, you have so much, you learned so much, then when you apply in the job, meaning opens up. So vardate and then what? Viparinamate. Oh, this is what it was. Theoretically, I thought this way. Now I see practically this is a change. Or some new research, like for example, doctors, you have to be in touch with medical journals. So many, medicines have changed, treatments have changed. Earlier treatments are shunned, medicines are shunned. You should not use it, side effects. So you have to, so not vardhate, but then viparinamate, some change in the treatment process. So any field, it's same. Buddhi undergoes change. Then apakshiyate, slowly what? Aging buddhi. Can't hold so much anymore. Earlier I used to remember, now I don't. Medha is gone, slightly declining. Then Nashyati, one day gone, completely gone. Very unfortunate, but unfortunate for the buddhi, for the sharira, not for me. I am fortunate enough to be separate asanga. So here, Shadbha Vikriyameti undergoes, it attains all the six Shadbhavas are six, stages of existence. Not existence, six stages. We'll just say six stages of anything. So this is the shloka here. Vrittam Swarupa undergoes, Swarupa is pervaded. How Swarupa is pervaded? That Swarupa itself is what? Its own Swarupa. You say if its own Swarupa, Swarupa is a Swabhava Arthe, not the real Swarupa in sense Satchidananda. So Swarupa is Swabhava, the Parinami Dhiya Swabhava Swarupa, that's how it is. Undergoes all sorts of stages, goes through all sorts of stages, six stages, but while being pervaded, while being Vyaptam Sat, Kena Vyaptam Sat, Nitya Akrama Drugatmana Maya, while being pervaded by me, I am always there, unchanging. Before the Janma, I was there. After the Mrityu, I will be there. Through and through, in this sthiti, Vardhate, Asti, Vardhate, Viparinamate, Apakshiyate, I am there. In all the middle four vikaras, I am there. During the first and the last, I am there. Before the first, after the last, I am there. So, pervasive all the way. This is the 82nd verse. That's the Thampada Shodhana. This is how we understand Thampada. Not get carried away with Shadbha Vikaras. Yes, they are there. Not mine. Why had it be mine, then why would I say that this is how my buddhi was then and this is how it is now? I don't know what it will happen tomorrow and what kind of change buddhi will have tomorrow. My memory, all that. So I am a witness to that who is unchanging. Further, Uktamartham Drishtantena Upapadayati. More examples to drive home the point. So the same idea, he elaborates with another example. Atmanascha iti. Atmanascha is Sata Atmana. So it says Sata Atmanascha Avikaritve Yuktihi. So the logic, logic behind what? The Avikaritva, unchanging Atma, for the unchanging Atma. What is the logic? Here there is a Tippana, one. दृष्टान्तेन उक्तमर्थम आकाशस्यैव आत्मना अविकारित्वम् उपपादयति दाष्टान्ते संगमयति इत्यर्थः. So exemplified has been mentioned already, and a small part of that was yatha akasha. But if that is not clear, he elaborates the example to connect with the exemplified which has been given. Atma is avikari. Atma pervades the buddhi vikaras, shadbha vikaras. So drishtantena uktamartha, what has been stated with the drishtanta example, akashasya iva, by saying that akashasya iva, like akasha, khena yatha, khena ankurha yatha. So he gives an example and elaborates it. Thereby Atma is avikari like akasha. In the Sambandhokti, Smriti, in Sambandhokti we saw Sata Atmanascha Avikarta Yuktihi. Logic is explained, the Anumana is given there. Tarka is given. Smriti Swapna Prabodheshu Nakaschit Pratyayodhiyaha Drisha Vyaptostyato Nityam Avikari Swayam Drishihi. स्मृति स्वप्न प्रबोधेषु सिंगल वर्ड न कश्चित् प्रत्ययः धियः दृशा अव्याप्तः अस्ति अतः नित्यम अविकारी स्वयं दृशि स्वयं दृशि स्वयं दृशि is a single word. Can be separate also, but single is better. So here अव्याप्तः अव्याप्तः प्रत्ययः धियः अव्याप्त प्रत्यय कश्चिदपि नास्ति केन व्याप्तः दृशा दृशा इज आत्म चैतन्येन आत्मना चैतन्येन व्याप्तः धियः बुद्धेः कश्चिदपि प्रत्ययः अव्याप्तः नास्ति धिया अव्याप्त दृशा अव्याप्ता नास्ति. What does it mean is that there is never a pratyaya, a form or a thought form, whatever is the akara of buddhi. No form of buddhi is non-pervaded by chaitanya. There is no such pratyaya. Every pratyaya of buddhi is pervaded by chaitanya. The seer, seeing Chaitanya, Sakshi Chaitanya. Sakshi Chaitanya is always there. There is never a pratyaya, you may say, okay, but maybe you are talking about Jagrat. How about Swapna? How about Sushupti? So Siddhanti says, Smriti Swapna Prabodeshu. Why is Smriti not Sushupti? Sushupti word has not been used. Why? Because in Sushupti, Buddhi does not have a pratyaya. If buddhi had a pratyaya, buddhi is leena. It does not have pratyaya. Therefore, Sushupti has not been mentioned. Why? Because kaschit pratyaya eva nasti. Asti chet vyaptaha. Avyaptaha na bhavati. Drisha avyaptaha pratyaya sushupto asti chet drisha vyaptaha eva bhavati. Avyaptaha na bhavati. Always pervaded. In Sushupti there is no pratyaya. But if at all somebody insists, like yogis, if the yogis insist, no, there is a nidra vritti, we say, okay, if there is a nidra vritti, that nidra vritti is also drisha vyaptaha. How do you know there is a nidra vritti? How do you know? The very reason that you know, anyone knows, it is because the Chaitanya is pervading. That itself is hetu. Janami iti hetu. Somebody else janati. Tad hetu. Somebody else knows. That is the reason. Atmana vyaptam. Yeah, I don't know. Somebody else knows. Yes, you don't know. You have not thought it over. Somebody else knows. Atmana vyaptam. Avyaptaha pratyaya na bhavati. Atmana vyaptaha eva bhavati. So yes, smriti. When you recollect something, smriti, samakara. Right now in the, in your room, you are looking at, let's say, ghatapata adi, whatever, laptop, ityadi, mobile. But yesterday you returned from a beautiful place, Himalayas, or even Prani Sangralaya, but you took a nice trip, you saw elephants, tigers, whatever. They are not there anymore, but you recollect. Beautiful experience, amazing experience. How ferocious, how huge elephant, how ferocious the tiger, lion, etc. And now you're recollecting Smriti. How do you recollect that and you know this Smriti? Why, even if I think about it, I feel so good. In a peaceful jungle, whatever, greenery. I'm a pagan, so I may not go to temple, but I worship nature. Somebody may say, and then you say, what? You recollect that, I feel, just by recollecting, I feel good. Why? Because I know that. How does that feeling also come up with Smriti? Because Atmana vyaptaha pratyaya. Smriti pratyaya api Atmana vyaptaha buddhehe dhiyaha. Similarly, Swapna, in Swapna also. How do you know Swapna padarthas? Because Atmana vyaptaha. Prabodeshu, definitely, prabodha is in the waking state, when you wake up. So in neither of the states, whatever is the pratyaya in any of the states, avasthatraya, न कश्चित् प्रत्ययः धियः भवति यः दृशा अव्याप्तः अस्ति. अतः therefore what? Therefore नित्यम अविकारी स्वयं दृशिः आत्मा. This Atma Swayam Drishi. Drishi is what? Swayam Drishi. This Drishi Sakshi does not need another Sakshi. Otherwise, there will be infinite regress. If I am knowing myself, then who is the other I who is knowing? I cannot know myself. Kartru Karma Virodha. So I have to think of another Sakshi that I am. Then another that I am, because to know that Sakshi also there is another needed. So you say Sakshi is Swayam Drishi. In the wake of Sakshi, everything comes to light. Sakshi does not need another Sakshi. Sakshi does not need to objectify. Sakshi is never objectified. Why? Known without objectification. Because that is my own Swarupa. Swarupa need not be known as an object. It cannot be known as an object. Cannot be, need not be. It is that which makes the presence of everything known, absence of anything known, jnana, ajnana, sukshma, stula, everything known. How do you know that? Which knows everything? You cannot. You cannot know as an object. You are the very entity which is knowing. The very kriya of knowing says that there is a knower me. The very kriya of the knowledge taking place, or through which kriya I connect, or through which tools, instruments, karanas I connect to some vishaya, prameya vastu, karya, that also I know. How? That shows that I am there. Indirectly, everything indirectly. Directly or directly I am there, that's it. I don't need anything else. It's not that when the Vishaya is not there, I am not there. I am still there. In Sushupti, there is no Vishaya, but I am still there. I wake up the same, more relaxed, but the same. How more relaxed? Antakarana is relaxed. Antakarana and body are tired, doing things willingly, unwillingly. But I am not tired. The buddhi wakes up, merged into Ananda Swarupa me to wear off its, all the tiredness. I am Swayam Drishi. And since every pratyaya is vyapta by me, drisha, therefore I am what? Nitya. And since all these pratyas are buddhi pratyas, and I know those pratyas as and when I wake up to the buddhi or in swapna or to smriti also, my satta and spurti is lent to all of these. As and when it is happening, I may imagine that, oh, I have sambandha. I have no sambandha. It is not neither is it sequential, nor do I know a step that, okay, when I wake up, then, I am coming to life, or whatever, the buddhi is coming to life. No. Buddhi may appear to come to life, whereby I think I am coming to life, but it is not so. I am always there. And being there continuously, nitya, therefore avikari. Nitya cannot have vikara. Nitya has vikara means it has changed. Change means there is no possibility of being avikari. And Swayam Drishi. Why? Because Nityatvena sarvam pashyati, sarvagocharan pashyati. So because every pratyaya is vyapta by drik me, therefore, and without any help, therefore Swayam Drishi is Nitya also, and being Nitya, avikari also. So what is the Anvaya here? Hetu is given, it asti ataha. Ataha is therefore. So smriti swapna prabodeshu dhiyaha kaschit pratyaya दृशा अव्याप्तः नास्ति अतः स्वयं दृशी ही नित्यम अविकारी. In any order, this will be okay. Nityam avikari, swayam drushi. So you can say swayam drushihi is this drisha has been mentioned here. Drik shabda has been used, and here drishihi strilinga shabda has been used. Swayam drishihi may not be strilinga also pullinga, but it's a ikaranta. Here you have drik drish, so it becomes drisha. So here halanta and here ikaranta. Same meaning, drish or drik or drishi. So nityam and avikari bhavati. Further, itham, there's a evam tam. So we have a tika now. Itham sankhya siddhantam avalambya buddhihi eva parinamini atma kutastha atma tu kutastha. Tu would be good. Iti darshitam. So far what has been done? Tarkikas are sitting there. All are tarkikas. There is no darshana which does not use tarka. Sarvashastra upakarakam. Vyakaranam, Vyakaranam, Paniniyam and Kanadam. Paniniyam, Kanadancha, Sarvashastra upakarakam. Vyakarana, Paniniya and Kanada. Kanada is Tarka Shastra. Is Sarva Shastra upakarakam. Every Shastra study, if you have to do further, you have to study anything more than an overview of Darshana, you need Tarka. You need Vyakarana. And some would say even Purvamamsa. Without Purvamamsa also, many Nyayas in Purvamamsa, although they are Laukika Nyayas, Purvamamsa has formalized that Nyaya. Then, so they are interdependent on their depth. For their depth, you have to study all of this. So here what has been done? Sankhya Siddhanta. Sankhya is the closest to Vedanta, although Dvaita. Only the Dvaita end is refuted. Not only Dvaita end, but we also, in their Darshana, the reality. So that's what Dvaita. In fact, we can say only Dvaita end is refuted. Most of the things what they talk about, that is in line with Shruti. And if we can refute Sankhya, everyone else stands refuted. It is called as Prathama Malla Nibharana Nyaya. So in wrestling, if you want to be the topmost wrestler, you wrestle the current topmost. You don't have to wrestle everyone. So you defeat Sankhya, everyone else is defeated as well. Because they have so many flaws. They have diversified and gone so much away from Shruti Siddhanta, that you can keep on using Tarka, or without much of indulging with them, you can refute them. So itham Sankhya Siddhantam avalambya, because Sankhya takes Atma to be, Purusha to be Asanga. Shruti says that Asango Hyayam Purusha. Sankhya's build up from that. Then Shruti talks about Srishti. Sankhya's have formalized the Srishti Prakriya, taking cue from Upanishad, Paingala Upanishad Ityadi, which talks elaborately about Srishti Prakriya, Panchikarana, etc. But Sankhya's talk about this Mahat Tattva, Ahankara, from Pradhana. Instead of Pradhana, we say Maya. But they say it is all real. We say no, it is not. So, Sankhya Siddhanta has been taken to refute others. Sankhya Siddhanta, where it is having basis in Shruti. Because Tarka is formulated, we don't need to build up the refutations. For example, Purvamamsaka has refuted Shunyavadis. Purvamamsakas have already done it. So, Uttarmimamsaka, Vedanti reuses similar logic or same also. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. No, no, he has used something. It is not that, this is not an exam where you are not allowed to, look from the other. This is not an exam. Our end goal is what? Understanding and agreement with the others, or disagreement has to be mentioned clearly. Why has to be mentioned clearly? So in a debate, you can reuse all this. It is not that your refutation has to be unique. There is no such, no, he gave that reason, you should not be giving that reason. Same reason. It's a fact. So we reuse that. Here, ittam Sankhya Siddhantam avalambya buddhi eva parinamini. Atma kutastha, Atma is asanga. Shruti says that. So Sankhyas have developed an argument. We say it's okay. And now we have used that and shown that buddhi is one that undergoes change, not Atma. Tarkikas would say what? Atma has jnana, ityadi, dharmas, gunas, atmana, dharma. Siddhanti says no, using Sankhya also. Sankhya also, disagree with you. So thereby, Atma is Kutastha. Iti darshitam. It has been shown so far. Now, what is the Mukhya Siddhanta is that Sankhya Siddhanta same? Earlier also the question had come up. Sankhya say the same thing. What is the difference between you and Sankhya? Vishesha. Siddhanti said Vishesha asti. We are Advaitins. Therefore, the Dvitiya is Mithya. So that is being shown here. Adhuna Atmana Parinama Abhyupagame api tasya mayamayatve kaschid dosha iti siddhantam avalambya aha evam tavatiti. So what do Sankhya say? Pradhana, etc. are separate from Purusha, Atma. Both are real. Purusha is Asanga. Purusha has no sambandha with Pradhana. Now this is a basic flaw. Why basic flaw? Because Shrishti will not be possible. Shrishti is given value in Shruti also, Adhyaropasthaniya. This Shrishti will not be possible without Chaitanya Sambandha. There is nowhere in the Prapancha that you see that Jada is turned into Karya on its own. Clay does not become pot without Chaitanya support. Kulala has to be there, the pot maker. Without the potter, clay does not become ghata, pot. So Mrit ghata is made from Mrit all, right? Upadana karana, but Nimitta karana is needed. Who is Chaitanya in the Siddhanta? When Sankhya says, no, there are other places or other cases also. Like what? For any Kriya, Karya is like, let's say, there's a landslide. There's a landslide. And Siddhanti shows that, for Siddhanti says that the Atma Tattva, Paramatma Tattva, Ishvara, thought that it wants to become more, multiply. Gausyam Prajayeti. So this idea that comes up, that is possible only in a Chaitanya, in a Chetana Vastu. A Chetana Vastu cannot have this idea that let me become many. So to this Sankhya, in Brahma Sutra, this is analyzed. Sankhya says, no, it is a Gauda Prayoga. There is not real Chetana Vastu there. That thinking, all that is possible in Chetana. Kriya is also that, let me do that and let me, become many, and then it became many. All that is possible, that Kriya is possible due to Chetana is not necessary, he says that. It's a Gauda Prayoga. For example, he says, or rather, not Gauda Prayoga, Siddhanti will say Gauda Prayoga elsewhere. So he says that it is not that only Chetana can, you talk about Chetana like that. Shruti is talking about it, it need not be Chetana. For example, he gives an example. In Loka, we see, you look at you're on a Nadi Tira, you're on the banks of the river, and then it has rained also. You see, there is a maybe banks, or you're on the road also. You're going on a road, and then you see you look ahead, it has rained heavily. You see the mountain which is about to fall. Part of the hill is about to fall. What do you say? So in Sanskrita, there are these usages of words, that it is In English, we may say it is about to fall. The mountain is about to, who is the karta? The mountain. Or sometimes in Sanskrita, prayagas, what? Patitum ichchati. So the mountain itself wishes to fall. So you personify the hill and you say the hill wants to fall, is willing to fall. So when you say about to fall, in some languages, in Sanskrita, you say patitum ichchati. About to fall. Not about to fall, it wishes to fall. So there's a wish is possible even in a hill, which is jada. This is what the Sankhya brings up. Siddhanti says that is Gauna Prayoga. That is Alankara. In usage, you say so. That's a language. That's the style of the language. Does not mean it is real. The hill cannot have a wish. Of course, I mean, if you say, Himalaya, Bhagavati, Parvati is daughter of Himalaya, there all we say the presiding deity of Himalayas. Presiding deity, one who is ruling over, who has a vasa there and say this is mine, and then the term used for Bhagavan Shiva is that he is Himavan. He is Himavan. That's a difference. So their Chetana is there. Vayu Devata, Prithvi, Prithvi Devata, Prithvi Mata. So all those uses are with the Adhishtatru Devata in mind, not the Jada itself. So when you say the hill wishes to fall, that time what is the idea? The idea is it's a Gauna Prayoga. It might fall. But it has nothing to do with so their Chetana is involved. Satta Chaitanya is involved. Without that backing, it will not be there. They will not have Satta also. There will be no hill without Chaitanya. So here, Itham, in this manner, Sankhya Siddhantam avalambya, taking resort to the Sankhya Siddhanta, Buddhi eva parinami. Na to kutastha Atma. Atma to kutastha. Atma parinami. Na avikari. Kutastha. So Buddhi alone is. Buddhi reva parinami. Na Atma. Atma is kutastha iti darshitam. It has been shown. Now what? Aduna Atmana parinama abhyupagami api. Now when you say Jada cannot act on its own is Siddhanta. Shruti says Purusha is Asanga. Atma is Asanga. So without Jada and Chetana Sambandha, how will Srishti take place? Anything take place? How will one become Baddha? How will do karma and become Baddha? Or how will one do Shravana Mana Nidhyasana and become Mukta? Neither is possible. So Sankhya, who says there is no Purusha Sambandha with Pradhana, Purusha being Asanga, that is what Shruti says is right. But when you talk about Shrishti Ityadi, in Vyavahara, you cannot just say that things are going on by Jada, due to Jada automatically. No, not possible. You have to make some prakriya where Chaitanya Purusha can remain Asanga and still have Sambandha. Whereby in Vyavahara, Pradhana or Prakriti can act. And everything can he explain. So how can the Avastha, Shrishti Avastha, Sthiti Avastha, Laya, all this can be explained? Siddhanti says we can agree that there is Parinama. Because if there is Sambandha, Parinama will be there. We can say there is Parinama in Chaitanya. So far we have said there is no Parinama in Chaitanya. Atma Kutastha, we have said. Yes, that is the Paramartha Sthana. Paramartha Sthani Kutastha Atma. Atma is Kutastha even in the Vyavahara. How can it be Kutastha also and Parinami also? Siddhanti says, I'll explain. Aduna Atmana Parinama Abhyupagami api. There is Sambandha whereby Jada starts acting out and Atma will undergo Parinama. Because there is Sambandha. Asanga Atma will not undergo Parinama, it will be Kutastha, Avikari Kutastha, Nitya, Swayamdrishi, Avikari. However, in the Srishti Prakriya, Srishti Adi, we have to accept that there is Sambandha. If we accept Sambandha, we have to accept Parinama. Without Parinama, there is no Sambandha. Without Parinama, there cannot be any Sambandha. With Sambandha comes Parinama. See, if I have any kind of sambandha with any of other Devadatta, Chaitra, Maitra, Ityadi, Yajnatta, I have sambandha, I will undergo change. You cannot say that nothing affects me. That nothing affects me is a different stage. So here, so if nothing, see, for example, let me talk about myself. I have this swabhava to pick up traits, whether it is by teasing or I don't know, or mimicry, whatever. Somebody speaks in a particular, somebody speaks, so you pick up their style somehow, knowingly, unknowingly. Not that I'm mimicking, that is a different story. When you tease someone, you talk like them. Oh, like you speak like this. But unknowingly also you pick up some traits of the others. Like Shishya picking up from the Guru is very common. I was telling someone the other day, we talking about Puja Swamiji used to use word therefore so many times. Therefore, therefore. Because Bhashya uses therefore a lot of times. Sometimes the Bhashya's word therefore as a hetu cannot be seen with the immediate preceding sentence. It connects with some sentences back in Sandarbha. So it is not very clear unless you are taught, unless you know, you can connect. You have studied enough to connect. Puja Swamiji used to use ataha, ata, that therefore, therefore. Sometimes there will be no connection at all. You'll just use it as a connecting word, like a preposition to connect connectors, and can be used, or all this, or for or to be used, there has to be some sambandha with the earlier sentence, contrasting. To use, and also you have to have some sambandha, continuation. Kincha also. Ataha all the more so because ataha means what? From here. But if it means etvarthe panchami, then therefore, wherefore, the question should come, wherefore, due to what? You don't see anything going by. So Puja Swamiji, you would use this, and it comes up for others pick up that trait. Therefore, you listen multiple times, it enters. That's what Shravana brings. You do Shravana, Veda Patha is all like that. Karna Sampradaya, you listen to it, it enters. Many of the sutras, not many. I remember very few sutras. Now all the less Ashtadhyayi sutras. But most of the sutras that I knew, where I knew because Swami Shankaracharya, my Acharya, Vyakanacharya, he used to keep on repeating without even learning by rote. I would gain it. Many of us would remember. No, you said this way. If he made a mistake, I would make a mistake because I wouldn't be looking up a book all the time. So if he makes a mistake, I'll make a mistake. So that's how things would flow. If he is right, I'll be right. If he says something which is outside the book also, how do I know it? I don't know where it comes from. My Acharya said it. So I remember that. Samskara. So here, adhuna parinam abhyupagamepi tasya mayamayatve kaschid dosha. So you pick up traits here. I don't know how I went off the chain, but I'm just mentioning here. So coming back to the Sandarbha, now if you agree with Sankhya Mata, how will this Srishti work? Asanga Atma. So there is some Sambandha. So yeah, I was mentioning with the Sambandha itself. So you pick up the traits, the Sambandha, you have to undergo some Vikara. Now here in this Sandarbha, there is no Vikara. But still, you have to accept Vikara. What do you do? So Siddhanti says, Maya Mayatve na kaschid dosha. There is a change, but no real change. Where is the change? Appears to have change. Jhayativa, Lelayativa. Therefore, Siddhanti says this is how you understand the entire setup. Sankhyas can explain something. Tarkikas may be able to explain something else. Yogis may be able to explain something else. So they can explain some anshas, they are focused on that. But when you look at as a whole, every darshana falls apart. Karma Kandis talk about entire karma, how that setup works. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We agree. Vyavahare bhattanaya. But everything comes together only in Vedanta. Vedanta is the only darshana which can explain everything. Explain everything means everything has its place with this satta difference. Everything can be explained with satta difference. Therefore, Siddhanti says, Aduna, now Atmana Parinama Abhyupagame api. Even if we accept Parinama in Atma, Paramatma Atma, no issues. Why? Tasya Parinamasya Mayamayatve. Parinama is not real. We accept it. It is not a real change. It is an apparent change. And thereby, kaschid dosha nasti iti siddhantam avalambya. This is siddhanta. So we say they have only what? They have only pratibhasika satya, swapna, rajju sarpa, and they have parmarthika satta, which is moksha also. Not only moksha, vyavahara, in this vyavahara also, everything that goes on in the loka is parmarthika for them. Dvaita is real, Bheda is real, Atma is Asanga is real, Bheda is real, no Sambandha, they Srishti also real. How? Without Chaitanya Sambandha. Siddhanti says you bring in another Satta. Vyavaharika Satta, Shruti talks about it. Maya Mayatvam, Maya Satta. Paramarthika Satta is only Moksha Brahma Satta, Moksha Avastha. And Pratibhasika Satta is Rajju Sarpa, Swapna Ityadi. But in middle you have Vyavaharika Satta. That is Maya Maya. Thereby you can say Parinama is there in Atma, which is not real Parinama. It is like Swapna Tulya. Swapnavat Mithya. Parinama api Swapnavat. Swapna Parinama. And slowly from this three satta, we'll take him to two sattas, everyone. But the second satta, one satta will be Paramarthika all the way. Second satta will not be Paramarthika, one satta will be Pratibhasika, Swapna. One satta will be Paramarthika. There is no third satta. So when we say Vyavaharika satta, this Vyavaharika satta is collapsed into Pratibhasika, not into Paramarthika. They have collapsed into Paramarthika. So we say you take away, you split that Paramarthika, Brahma satta, Moksha satta, you split that, and second will be what? Vyavaharika satta. Make that Vyavaharika satta. Then we'll explain it as Maya Maya. And if it is Maya Maya, it is Swapna Tulya, like Pratibhasika satta, and then whatever we have carved out from their Paramarthika, we'll push it into Pratibhasika. So we'll also have two sattas. They have Paramarthika and Pratibhasika. We'll also have that. But whatever was in Paramarthika other than Brahma, we'll push it into Pratibhasika later. Going through Vyavaharika. Slowly we say, is it possible like Swapna? Yes. Then separate it out. Now you say it is like Swapna, then why say like Swapna? It is Swapna only. Then you push it there. So from there two sattas, we bring it to three sattas, and from three sattas, we take it to two sattas again. But not same grouping. So Aduna Atmana Parinama Abhyupagami api tasya Mayamatve na kaschid dosha. Iti Siddhantam avalambya aha evam tavat. And thereby Sambandhoktikara says evam tavat parabhyupagata prakriya prasthanena nirastha ashesha vikara ekatmyam pratipaditam upapattivihi atha aduna shrautim prakriyam avalambya uchyate. So what has been done earlier? He says so far evam tavat. In this manner, first of all, to explain all this, what we have done, we have taken Parabhyupagata Prakriya, Prasthana. We have taken their Prasthana Darshana, which uses Prakriya, and whose Prakriya is it? Parabhyupagata, accepted by other Sankhya here. Para is Sankhya, other, accepted by him, the Prakriya which is accepted by him, with that Prasthanena. So it has a particular sthana we have given, and accepting that, meaning they have Prakriya has some stages, all that we have taken. And then Nirastha Ashesha Vikara Ekatmyam. Nirastha Ashesha Vikara. All the Vikaras have gone away, and Eka Atma, Ekatmyam. Ekatmyam is what? Really, Atma being Asanga there. That Atma, Ekatmyam, Pratipadita Upapatti, using Tarkado. All of this, for all of this, we have used Upapatti Pramana. Upapatti is Tarka, Anumana Pramana. We established that. We never showed him. In passing, we may have showed, but we have never use that as a main reason, although that is a main reason for us. Shruti says so. Atha aduna Shrautim Prakriyam Avalambya Uchyate. Now taking resort to the Shruti. Shruti based Prakriya is Shrauti Prakriya. Strilinga, Shrauti Prakriya. Thereby, what is it? Tippana 1. Atmana Paramarthata Vikaraha Nasti. Iti etavata Samyena Sankhya Mata Abhyupagamaha Kritaha. Purusmin Granthe. So in the earlier part of the text, what has been done? Atmana Paramarthata Vikara Nasti. In the Paramarthika, there is no Vikara in Atma. We agree. Shruti says so. And Sankhya also agrees, Asanga Atma, and he says so. Sankhya, they say so. Etavata Samyena Sankhya Mata Abhyupagama Krita. So far, we are in line. They are in line with Shruti, we are in line with Shruti, therefore we agree with them. Everything is okay. Siddhante too, however, in Siddhanta, there is a difference. Other anshas there is a difference. What is that? Sakshini Vikalpita Parinamaha Asti iti krutva. In Sakshi, there is Parinama. What Parinama? Vishesha Kalpita Parinama, Mithya Parinama. There is some Parinama. Kalpita Parinama, meaning no Parinama. Is there a Parinama? There is no Parinama. Is there a Parinama? Yes, Kalpita Parinama. Both mean the same thing. Is there Prapancha? No. Is there Prapancha? Yes, Kalpita Prapancha. Same meaning. Prapancha is Mithya. No, Prapancha has Vyavaharika Satta. Both same meaning. Both have same meaning. Prapancha nasti ityeva artha. Iti krutva Shrautim Prakriyam Avalambya Uchyate. So, taking resort to Shruti and Shruti based Prakriya, we explain further Avalambya. What is the shloka? We'll do the shloka and stop. Astu va parinamasya drishe kutasta rupataha kalpitopi mrushaivaso dandasyeva dandasyevapsu vakrata. So an example is used. So I made mistakes. Let me read again. Astu va parinamosya drishe kutasta rupataha kalpitopi mrushaivaso dandasyevapsu vakrata. तो अस्तु वा परिणामः अस्य दृशेः कूटस्थरूपतः सिंगल वर्ड कल्पितः अपि मृषा एव असौ दंडस्य इव अप्सु वक्रता. So example is what? Iva. Like what? Like danda which is immersed, like a stick which is immersed in water. So in a bucket of water you immerse a stick, or in nadi, what happens? There will be refraction and you will see the stick is bent. Stick is not really bent, but does it appear to be bent? Yes. So you give value for appearance. No, the stick is straight. It can never become bent. It can never become bent. Yes. Does it appear bent? Yes. So is it bent? Yes. Is it not bent? Yes. Can it never bend? Yes. Can it bend? Yes. In the river. So everything is validated. How? Say refraction. So you use science. Moderners will say science. Why is it not possible? It is definitely possible. But here, it is mithya. We say it is an apparent bend, not real bend. If it is an apparent bend, then not bend. So here, like the danda has vakrata, has the bend in water, apsu. Apsu is strilinga, up is strilinga, and nitya strilinga and nitya bahuvachana also. You cannot have ekavachana and dvivachana. It is always bahuvachana, waters. In English, if you have to translate, you cannot say waters, it is water only. Of course, you can say river waters. There are uses like that, but mostly you will say about water. So, strilinga, bahuvachana, dandasyeva apsu, dandasya vakrata iva. What? Here he says, parinama astu. Kasya asya drushe. Let this Atma Chaitanya, Kutastha Rupata. This Kutastha Rupa Visheshana has been added. This Atma Drishi, this Drishi Chaitanya, which is Kutastha Rupa, unchanging, never changing. Let it have Parinama also. Let it have Astu. Va. Or athava, let there be parinama of this kutastha rupa drishi. Kalpita, kalpita api. Even if you say it is there, kalpita api mrisha eva asau. Asau parinama mrisha eva. Like what? Mrisha, vakrata yatha mrisha. Yatha apsu dandasya vakrata mrisha. तथा अस्य दृशे कूटस्थ रूपः दृशेः परिणामः अस्तु कल्पितोऽपि अस्तु मृषा एव. परिणामः अस्तु कल्पितः परिणाम एव अस्तु and then मृषा एव असौ. So अन्वय wise you'll have to say single line अन्वय. So you'll have to say अस्य कूटस्थ रूपतः दृशेः. So va has to be added. Va is usually added as a second word. So we'll say asya va kutastha rupatah drishehe parinamo kalpito api astu. Or kalpita astu, or you while saying that, you kalpita astu, or you can add this also. So we'll say, let's say again, asya va kutastha rupatah drishehe dandasya अपसु वक्रता इव और अपसु दंडस्य वक्रता इव कल्पितोऽपि अस्तु. राइट. और कल्पितोऽपि परिणामः अस्तु. परिणामः अस्तु अस्य दृश्ये कूटस्थ रूपतः परिणामः अपसु दंडस्य इव दंडस्य वक्रता इव कल्पितः अपि अस्तु. अपि is a little tricky to add somewhere, so you can see whichever fits better, and then say asau mrisha, like that also. Mrisha kalpita, the kalpita, or you can parinama asyapi astu, you can say athava. So va is athava. So had it been athava, you could have added earlier. Only va cannot be added. So we'll say kutastharu asya va kutastharu patah drishehe apsu dandasya vakrata iva kalpitah parinama api astu, or kalpita api parinama astu. Then you say asau mrisha eva. So that's how I see it. There may be a better way. This is what I can think of right now. So it is all kalpita, and kalpita is what mrisha. Kalpita is hetu for it. Yataha kalpita parinama. Therefore what? Parinama mrisha. Like what? Vakrata. Vakrata of danda is kalpita. Therefore what? Kalpita. You'll have to say strilinga. Vakrata is kalpita. Therefore iti hetu mrisha eva. Asau is in pullinga and strilinga, it's the same form, asau. So this is the 85th verse. Tika we'll see in the next part. Not 85th, sorry, 84th. 84th, so there is no Tika. 85th we'll see in the next part. Yat sakshat sachidanandam pratyagadyam kriyam tannamami rusyasya yogi gamyam parampadam. Namaste. Dhanyavada.